Thanks for joining us. I'm Sanaz Tahernia. The coronavirus has now killed more than 100,000 people in the U.S., which is nearly twice the number of Americans killed during the entire Vietnam War, and it took less than 4 months. The death toll represents an average of nearly 900 Americans killed every day by COVID-19 since early February. The heartbreak from those deaths continues, as does the economic hardship triggered by the pandemic. Now here's a look at the latest numbers. More than 1.7 million people have tested positive for the coronavirus in the U.S. 100,871 people have died, and 391,508 people have reportedly recovered from COVID-19. President Trump tweeted about the 100,000 deaths just today. He said, quote, "We have just reached a very sad milestone with the coronavirus pandemic, deaths reaching 100,000. To all the families and friends of those who have passed, I want to extend my heartfelt sympathy and love for everything that these great people stood for and represent. God be with you," end quote. And another 2.1 million Americans have filed for unemployment benefits just this last week. More than 40 million Americans have filed for first-time unemployment benefits since the U.S. economy shut down for the pandemic. Altogether, that means that nearly 1 in 4 Americans have filed for unemployment benefits since the month of March. The hospitality industry accounted for the bulk of jobs lost in April, and the next unemployment report covering the month of May is expected to show a jobless rate of nearly 20%. That's a significant jump from April's figure of just under 15%. And as states begin to reopen their economies, amid the coronavirus pandemic, many businesses are resuming in-store shopping. TJX Companies, which is the parent company of TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods, announced this week that it expects most of its stores to be reopened by the end of June. The company says more than 1,600 stores have already reopened around the world, and officials said they're enacting guidelines such as mandatory face masks, health screenings, and temperature checks. Protective shields have also been installed at cash registers, and most fitting rooms are temporarily closed. And as we inch closer towards summer and summertime fun, health officials say it's more critical than ever to wear masks and social distance whenever possible. Whitney Wild has the latest on how to stay safe this summer.
With all 50 states in some kind of phased reopening, there are more ways every day to enjoy your summer. But health officials say there's one message to keep in mind. Your actions now will have a big impact on the future of this virus. From coast to coast, local officials are announcing plans to revive parts of their summer economies. In San Francisco, the mayor says camps and youth programs can begin in June, but with limited capacity. In Orlando, Disney World, Universal Studios, and SeaWorld and others have all announced plans to open their gates. Disney World will allow visits to some areas starting July 11th, pending state approval.
As we fight this pandemic, it's like a war between clean and what's dirty. And in this case, I believe that the Disney enterprise, as well as the other theme parks, have demonstrated that they have gone the extra mile to ensure that they can open up safely.
As you get ready for your summer vacation, plan to bring masks whenever you're venturing out of your house or hotel room, and remember to wash your hands, or when that's not possible, use hand sanitizer. Health officials say there's a strong likelihood of a second peak of COVID-19. So remember, what we do this summer will change how many coronavirus cases we see later this fall. In Washington, I'm Whitney Wild.
One county in the San Francisco Bay Area. Charles Clifford joins us live from Solano County with a look at those new rules. Hi, Charles.
Hey there, so I'm in Solano County. This is the town of Benicia, which is roughly halfway between San Francisco and Sacramento. And as of today, health officials here in Solano County are allowing people to return to barbershops and hair salons. Let's go ahead and take a look at some video. Downtown Benicia here earlier today. This is Dave's Barbershop right downtown. Pretty good line of folks waiting to get their hair cut. Here it's been weeks, months since a lot of people could get their hair trimmed. I had a chance to talk to a couple of people. I talked to one guy, works nearby, says he was just thrilled to be able to go back in to his regular barbershop and get a cut.
Oh, best thing ever. It's clean, refreshing. Missed it a lot. It's been great service here, and I'm all about shopping local and keeping those small businesses going. So it's been kind of sad to see what's been going on.
Yeah, now health officials are allowing barbershops, hair salons to open back up, but there are some restrictions. They can cut hair and do things like weaves and colorings, but you're not allowed to do anything that involves touching the face. That includes shaves or facials. That's not allowed yet. Also, you need to maintain social distancing inside the business, and people need to wear masks, and also the businesses need to make sure that their equipment is cleaned on a regular basis. So that's the very latest here in Solano County. Charles Clifford, I'll send it back to you, Sanaz.
Chuck, really quick question. The video we just saw, it showed the barber without a mask. Is that video from today?
So that was shortly after they opened up, and this health order was given, I believe, last night. So it might take a little time for everyone to get the message on the procedures. Every story we've done here, there's always requirements to wear face masks and maintain social distancing. But it is hard for people who are used to doing things a certain way to have to make those adjustments. So yeah, there's still a bit of a learning curve here for people who are adjusting to the new normal, I guess.
All right, Chuck, thank you so much for that. Now we're learning new information on what public transportation could look like in the San Francisco Bay Area. Transportation agencies are adjusting how passengers will be safely standing and sitting on board trains and buses. And BART just released a 15-step plan to welcome back riders. Now, the cleaning process, called fogging, uses a spraying of hospital-grade disinfectant. Deep cleanings like this typically happen every 3 days, but now it'll happen every night. BART will be only running 10 trains every 30 minutes to make sure people have enough options to social distance from each other. As ridership increases, they'll increase service hours as well. And a new seat configuration is in the works for the fleet of future train cars. The removal of seats means more passengers will be standing, and BART is also selling personal hand straps for riders. Apple stores are reopening 100 more retail locations across the U.S. this week, and that includes several in the San Francisco Bay Area, as many counties move further into phase 2 of reopening. Sarah Stinson is at an Apple store in the East Bay and explains the changes stores are making to keep customers safe.
The Apple store here at Broadway Plaza in Walnut Creek is reopening, along with 13 other locations across the Bay Area. You can see the tents up behind me. They're preparing for customers. You can see these employees using a tape measure to make sure that customers are keeping 6 feet of distance, plus distance between them and the employees. However, it's only for storefront pickup, so it's going to be a little bit different for now. However, they will have the Genius Bar open in case you need something like a device fixed or you need help. Some Apple stores will be allowing customers inside, including 2 in California, again, none in the Bay Area, only in San Diego and Santa Barbara for now. Once every store allows people inside, the store will be spaced out in a way where people can keep distance from others. Also, customers and employees will have to wear a face covering and get a temperature check before going inside. Each store will undergo deep cleanings throughout the day. Some of the other Bay Area locations opening for pickup only are Berkeley, 2 in San Francisco, Santa Rosa, and 2 locations in Palo Alto, just to name a few. We put a full list of the reopened locations in the Bay Area on our website, KronFord.com. Head there, see if there's a location near you, but again, it's only for storefront pickup and services. In Walnut Creek, Sarah Stinson, KRON 4 News.
Many Las Vegas casino and hotel properties are preparing to welcome back tourists starting next week. One downtown CEO wants to give the economy an extra boost by paying for more than 1,500 plane tickets to Las Vegas. But some locals wonder how Las Vegas will handle a spike in travel. Sasha Loftus explains.
Casino owner Derek Stevens wants to help Las Vegas bounce back.
I just want to get things going and jumpstart things as much as possible.
Now that Strip and downtown properties have the go-ahead to welcome guests next week, Stevens paid for 1,700 one-way plane tickets on Wednesday.
We got to get people back to work, so it's good for our community.
The trips to the valley were claimed in a matter of hours, showing signs of a coming tourist demand.
I want to see visitors come back to our city.
Some locals say they're excited, while others wish travelers would hold off.
Let's not invite the whole world to come here right away.
The international airport just launched its new campaign, LAS All In, sharing a focus on sanitizing, social distancing, and a reduction of person-to-person contact.
We do care about them.
So whether you're eager to participate or still want to stay inside,
It's probably safer and cleaner than what you've ever seen before.
Stevens says he and other industry leaders want to offer a new and exciting version of the city we all know and love.
I just think it's a great thing for Las Vegas.
That was Sasha Loftus reporting for us. Officials at Las Vegas McCarran International Airport say most airlines are showing an increase in reservations for arriving flights starting next month. Checking in on the Midwest now, Mike Colombo joins us live from St. Louis, Missouri. Mike, what is the latest over there?
Well, we're going to start in Michigan, where President Trump says he will approve the Michigan governor's request to use the state's National Guard through July 31st. The current order, which provides federal pay and benefits, currently runs through June 24th. The governor asked for the extension to help safely reopen the economy. The governor says the Guard has been helping flatten the COVID-19 curve by distributing PPE, food, medical supplies, and more. In Illinois, the U.S. Supreme Court gave the governor until tonight to respond to an appeal by 2 Chicago churches for emergency relief from his stay-at-home order.
The Supreme Court of the United States has given the governor a deadline of 8 p.m. tonight to make his case to the Supreme Court of why he should be allowed to disregard the Constitution.
The problem with the mayor and also the governor is that they put themselves above the law.
The pastor of one of those churches has vowed to defy the governor's order that bans gatherings of 10 or more people. His church was among 3 that were fined by the city of Chicago last weekend. The governor said last week that he'd let science and data rule the decision to reopen churches, and that outside services were ways some churches have been practicing safely. All Great Clips hair salons in Springfield, Missouri are temporarily closed after they received repeated threats. That comes after 2 workers at one location tested positive for COVID-19 last week, potentially exposing nearly 140 clients. The company says it is working closely with law enforcement officials as the threats are investigated. There is a major COVID-19 outbreak at a food processing plant in North Texas. More than 200 workers at the Tyson facility in Sherman, Texas have tested positive for the virus. A Texas National Guard testing team went to that Tyson plant and tested more than 1,600 employees. Tyson says it's put several protective measures in place that meet or exceed CDC and OSHA guidance. State officials say a health clinic has been set up on the property for workers. A renewed push in Oklahoma to get thousands the money they've been waiting for. The new interim executive director of the state's Employment Security Commission has an aggressive plan to help the unemployed. Reporter Chase Horn has more on that plan.
People of Oklahoma, I don't think they really care who's in charge of the agency. If they are waiting on money, they care if they get paid.
Zumwalt says she's watched OESC struggle to keep up with the thousands of unemployment claims coming in due to COVID-19. And she's heard all of the stories of Oklahomans struggling.
Is that something that I really thought I could fix? And the answer I came to was yes, I think I can. The experience I bring to my state service lets me know that I'm the right person for that job.
Zumwalt says previous leadership actually did a lot of things right. But she has a different approach to fixing things, like pandemic unemployment assistance, which thousands find impossible to navigate.
That's something that's not working the way it should, and that's absolutely one of the top items on that agenda is fixing that and making sure that the people that are waiting on the money there, that they are getting it.
As we've said before, our priorities are getting Oklahomans the money they need and reducing fraud. We believe Shelley will help us produce these results.
A lawsuit filed in one Texas town could have broad implications for businesses across the entire state. A steakhouse in the town of Frisco wants the state to pay for losses it suffered while it was forced to shut down. EG Steakhouse just celebrated its 7th anniversary before shelter-in-place orders were issued. The co-owner says takeout orders barely helped, and he had to furlough 40 workers.
And then the following day, we had people just show up and said, I got nowhere to go, so tell me what you need.
The lawsuit seeks a $2 million judgment. In a statement, the city of Frisco says it is a business-friendly community and that it's unfortunate businesses were forced to close to protect the public health, safety, and welfare of citizens. It denies claims in the lawsuit. It's the time of year that children would be heading to summer camps, but this year it'll look a little different. Many groups are recreating their programs and making them virtual. Feliz Romero shows us how one college is planning just that.
Campus may be quiet this summer due to COVID-19, but that doesn't mean students won't be learning.
If kids are interested in gaming, coding, esports, or virtual reality, they will love these camps.
Midland College usually does their summer camps on site with Black Rocket, but with recent events, the two have decided to pair up and tackle online learning.
After the cancellation of Kids College, Black Rocket approached me and asked if I would like to do virtual camps. And I thought, what a fun and safe way that kids can learn and also stay busy. Science, technology, engineering, arts, math, it's all of it, all included, and also having a lot of fun at the same time. It's safe, it's fun, and you learn.
Because the programs are offered online, there is no student cap, meaning they will offer it to as many students that sign up. Online registration is already taking place.
It's $149. There's actually 20 camps, and it's for kids for ages 8 through 14.
The camps will go from June 8th through August 10th.
They can go to our website at www.midland.edu/STEAMcamp, and there they will find a parent online guide for the technology that is needed to be able to do these camps on their computer.
We have certainly been reporting on all the changes to camps, both for kids, teens, college students in our area. I would imagine the same could be true out west. Certainly the case down in parts of Texas, Oklahoma, and other parts in the southern states of our country. I'm Mike Colombo reporting in St. Louis. Back to you.
Mike, thank you for that report. In Texas, Governor Greg Abbott visited the Panhandle to check in on the progress of tackling COVID-19. The governor had initially held the counties around Amarillo back a week before entering the phase of reopening, but now says the Panhandle is back on track. Wes Rappaport is at the Texas Capitol with details.
Donning a mask for the first time publicly, Governor Greg Abbott updated Texans on Amarillo's readiness to reopen after facing outbreaks in nursing homes, meatpacking plants, and jails.
Amarillo has turned the corner.
Amarillo went from reporting 182 cases May 13th to 734 cases May 16th. Now 0 new cases twice this week.
You see an early spike in the number of people testing positive, and then you see a slow decline in those testing positive that demonstrates that the hotspot area has been contained.
A lot of people have put their hand to the plow in order to work on this situation.
In East Texas, meatpacking plants pose similar problems with outbreaks in facilities in Shelby and Titus counties.
The problem is not opening up too quickly. It's opening up and not abiding by the guidelines.
Titus County Judge Brian Lee says COVID-19 should be handled on a case-by-case basis.
On a per capita basis, I'm sure we're about to lead the pack in the state of Texas. And that's not something that we're proud of, but it is something that we are going to deal with without going into mass hysteria.
State leaders hope to replicate the response in Amarillo at other emerging hotspots.
Amarillo has been the place where we launched it first, and we've seen great success.
That was Wes Rappaport reporting. When asked about the state's supply chain of personal protective equipment, Governor Abbott said the U.S. had outsourced some equipment and supply manufacturing. The country is now bringing those operations back stateside so the nation would be less dependent on other countries for supplies. And now in Florida, many people there are struggling with unemployment and not receiving checks. We've got Daisy Ruth live. She's joining us from Tampa with the latest. Hi, Daisy.
Hey there, good afternoon. You are absolutely right. At this point in the pandemic, it is no secret that Florida's state unemployment system is in shambles. State audits dating back to 2013 found technical flaws that were never fixed. But the state maintains that if claims are delayed or denied, that still falls back on the applicant, and the applicant is the one who is to blame. Investigative reporter Victoria Price tracked down a now former Department of Economic Opportunity call center employee who says that's just not the case.
Much like how thousands of unemployment applicants don't know why they got denied, the DEO did not give Reggie Ellison a reason for canceling his call center contract.
They had no further information to give me, and that was the end of the conversation.
Ellison is one of 3,000 plus temps brought on to help unemployment seekers navigate the Connect system, but he often found himself disconnected.
The only thing that was more constant than the system malfunctioning is me breathing.
And he says he's seen that same malfunctioning system reject applicants who otherwise qualify for benefits.
Yes, I've seen people rendered ineligible just on a computer glitch.
As of Tuesday, the DEO had rejected more than 400,000 claims. Its CFO testified that wage determination is the most common category people are disqualified over. But during that hearing, Ellison testified that same information is what most frequently and mysteriously disappears in the system.
And I honestly, for the life of me, cannot understand as to why the system has been doing that.
The agency denies erroneous rejection, stating there are, quote, multiple reasons someone could be found ineligible. A claim reinforced by Governor Ron DeSantis, who, when asked, said that delayed or denied claims are likely the applicant's fault. Ellison may be off the job, but he's still answering calls for help, sharing his knowledge with thousands in unemployment support groups.
If I can help, I want to.
Casino concerns here in the Tampa Bay area. A Tampa couple tells 8 on Your Side they visited the Seminole Hard Rock Casino last Friday, and they were so upset by the amount of people who got through security and then took off their masks. So we went to casino leaders about this claim of lapse in safety just days after the establishment opened. Reporter Ryan Hughes has their statement and more from this very upset couple.
Larry and Carol visit the Seminole Hard Rock Casino in Tampa quite regularly.
We go about twice or 3 times a week.
They came in last Friday, a day after it reopened with new COVID-19 health and safety measures in place. They said they were dismayed. They tell me they witnessed people walk in with face coverings or masks on, then take them off after they got through a temperature checkpoint.
I'm sure other people feel the same way that we do, that when they see what's happening over there, especially when they said that you're safe and sound and we're going to take a lot of safety precautions.
Larry doesn't understand why the casino implemented a mask requirement only not to enforce it.
I always wear my mask when I go inside of a building, and I can take it off when I go outside. But it's safer to you're protecting yourself and you're protecting other people.
8 on Your Side turned to the casino for answers and got a statement that says, in part, the team at the casino focuses on a combination of precautions in place and realizes that masks are an important part of the program. Casino workers remind guests that they must wear masks.
Most people are wearing masks. Most people. So if everyone wears a mask, then everyone is protecting themselves and they're protecting other people.
This afternoon, we are still awaiting an update regarding the opening of Walt Disney World Resort and SeaWorld Orlando. Yesterday, an economic task force and Orlando Mayor John Dyer approved the theme parks plan for reopening. Disney World is looking for a phased reopening of 2 parks on June 11th and the other 2 parks on June 15th. SeaWorld looks to reopen on June 11th as well. Both parks will require face coverings and temperature checks for both staff and guests. The plans for approval await Governor Ron DeSantis' signature. 2 men are suing organizers of Ultra Music Festival in Miami, saying they were denied refunds after the 3-day electronic music festival was canceled due to the pandemic. The men are seeking class action status to obtain full refunds with interest for thousands of ticket holders around the world. Ultra had been scheduled for the weekend of March 20th in downtown Miami, but strict social distancing guidelines banned all large gatherings. Organizers announced they were postponing the festival, and rather than offer refunds, they chose to honor tickets for the 2021 or 2022 events, though those events have not yet been confirmed. Researchers at the University of South Florida are working on new technologies to stop the spread of COVID-19. The team just received a federal grant to aid in their efforts. 8 on Your Side's Deanne Roberts tells us how these new technologies could impact folks around the nation.
A team of researchers here at USF are developing 2 devices. The first device would allow you to reuse and sterilize a facial mask. The second device would allow you to sterilize surfaces even on the go. The team of researchers just received a $167,000 grant toward their 2 innovations. The first is a box that allows you to recharge and properly sterilize your mask. After at least 5 minutes of charging, the mask can properly kill and fight off coronavirus bacteria. The other device is a portable handheld scanner that sterilizes and kills bacteria on any surface. One of the lead researchers says this technology will not only help with the shortage of PPE, but it will also help with people's pockets.
I talked to many people. I realized many of them are actually reusing masks right now. They just put them out there for a while, or they put them under sunlight, or even they steam it. But it's not the right way to do it. But we want to offer a low-cost way for everyone to have access to it.
The researchers have submitted their prototype and they're awaiting FDA approval. Once it is approved, the researchers plan to sell both devices for less than $50 each. It could be a couple of months before we see these devices on the shelves, but nonetheless, they may be on the way. For more information on this new technology, head to our website and our free WFLA app. I'm reporting in Tampa, Deanne Roberts, 8 on Your Side.
And speaking of the University of South Florida, USF has announced its plans to continue teaching students during the pandemic. The university will have in-person classes this fall, but will transition to online classes and exams after the Thanksgiving holiday. The goal is to limit the number of people on campus and make social distancing easier. Dorms and dining halls will remain open after the Thanksgiving holiday for students who need access. Now, Sanaz, I know it's only June, but it seems early, but it's really not for kids to think about going back to college. This is the first university I have heard of not allowing students back after Thanksgiving, but this may be the standard moving forward here in Florida to let kids stay home and take those finals online.
I do know a lot of schools on the West Coast are looking into doing online classes into the new school year as well. So this may, Daisy, be our new normal, at least for a little bit. Thanks so much for that report. Absolutely. And in New York City, businesses are getting antsy. Some business owners are defying state orders and reopening. A tanning salon on Staten Island reopened today for appointments. Jenna DeAngelis spoke to the salon owner and explains how he plans to safely reopen.
Sanitize solution at the front counter.
A protective shield at the desk, marks for social distancing, just some of the safety measures in place at Sunbelievable, which customers will see beginning Thursday.
Appointment paid for tomorrow, which was minimized already for 50% capacity.
25-year business owner Bobby Catone plans to open the Amboy Road Tanning Salon despite government orders to keep non-essential businesses closed.
We're being punished for trying to put food on our table. I'm not a legal expert. I'm just a regular guy being the face and the voice of small businesses.
But he's backed by attorney Louis Gellermino, who's also representing 5 other businesses.
We feel the city and the state are overstepping their bounds. They've greatly exceeded their authority. And let the people decide whether they want to come to this business.
In Borough Park, Brooklyn, several shop owners defied orders and opened.
I don't think it's right for all small stores to be closing when all Walmart and Targets and all the bigger brands do open.
Echoing that, the owner of Amore Fine Jewelry, who started a coalition of more than 300 New York business owners.
We're not looking to make a fight with the governor or with the mayor, but we're just saying this needs to be fair. 10 people can get together in a park. 10 people can gather together in other situations. Why can't I allow one person in my store?
But Mayor de Blasio says the city has only met 5 of the 7 metrics for reopening.
If people jump the gun and they don't follow the rules, that's the best way to guarantee we don't get to our reopening. So of course we're going to enforce this, and we're going to enforce it aggressively.
What's your response to what the mayor said?
You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It's not working this way. I have to take a chance, or we have to take a chance. And if there's repercussions, there's repercussions.
That was Jenna DeAngelis reporting. Mayor Bill de Blasio says New York City is on pace to start reopening part of its economy in the first or second week of June. But that phase doesn't include going inside stores or salons. The mayor says any business owner who doesn't follow the orders will face a $1,000 fine. And President Trump is expected to announce an executive order against social media companies today after Twitter flagged one of his tweets about mail-in ballots provably false. Due to the pandemic, more and more states are considering mail-in ballots for the November election to keep people away from the polls. But the president's tweet in question claimed that would lead to widespread voter fraud. Washington, D.C. correspondent Joe Khalil joins us now live. Joe, there's a lot of moving parts in this developing story. Why don't you go ahead and break it down for us?
Yeah, there are. So the first thing is that we still don't exactly know what the executive order is going to be, what's going to be in it, how enforceable, and what it's actually going to entail. None of that we know because the president hasn't come out and talked about it yet. He said it was going to be happening this afternoon, that he would roll it out, but we haven't heard much on it. What we have heard is again, the background that you laid out. This started when he tweeted that the governor of California was going to be mailing out ballots to every single person in the state, no matter who they are, no matter where they come from. That is simply not true. The governor and every single registrar of voters across the state are going to be mailing out ballots to every registered voter. So Twitter felt comfortable enough to call that out, and they didn't remove the tweet. What they did is essentially just put a little tab next to it that says, click here for more factual information about mail-in balloting. So that they, in their own way, sort of fact-checked the president. And I think you're seeing that image right there. So that's actually unprecedented. We haven't seen that yet, especially with this president who, has obviously revolutionized the way that lawmakers use Twitter. For them to take a stand like that and say, we're going to fact-check the president and make sure that, everybody has the most accurate information is unprecedented. Obviously, it sparked a response from him. He came out and he was criticizing Twitter, ironically, via tweet on Twitter. And for the past couple of days, we've sort of seen that response from him. Now, we heard lawmakers from both sides of the aisle weigh in on this. They really wanted Twitter, on the Democratic side anyway, to go further. They wanted him to remove those tweets. They also wanted Twitter to remove tweets about MSNBC anchor Joe Scarborough, where the president was tweeting and then retweeting sort of this misinformation about a conspiracy theory that the news anchor was actually involved in a murder of a staffer 20 years ago. We know that staffer died of heart complication. There was no murder investigation. Law enforcement authorities in Florida, where this happened, have long, for 2 decades now, said that there's no foul play here. So it is a conspiracy theory that the president was pushing, was sharing, and promulgating. So Democrats wanted Twitter to have him just remove the president's tweets. They didn't go that far, but still, what they did do drew the president's ire. And so we're waiting to see what he's going to be doing about it, specifically in this executive order, and how enforceable it'll actually be. Again, we'll know that once he rolls it out later on this afternoon. Really, it should be any moment now.
Joe, what if the executive order that he drafts is unconstitutional on its face or unconstitutional in effect? What would happen at that point in terms of a timeline? What would be the next step?
Well, we're going to have to wait and see. Obviously, the president does have pretty broad authority when it comes to executive orders, but the check on the president there would be the judiciary. So if, in fact, the president rolls out this executive order that many people would hypothetically say this is unconstitutional, there is recourse for Twitter, for Facebook, for other social media platforms, and also for members of Congress to file suit and say, Mr. President, you cannot do that legally. That may be us jumping the gun a little bit because, again, we don't know what it's going to say. Kayleigh McEnany, the White House press secretary, just had a briefing about an hour ago and talked a lot about this subject, but didn't mention any specifics about what would be in that order. So, again, we're going to wait and see. I mean, it is very possible that he rolls something out and Democrats or these social media giants say, Mr. President, you can't do that. You don't have the authority to do that, and we will challenge you in a federal court.
All right, Joe, thank you so much for that report. I guess we'll just wait and see what the executive order says. Thanks so much.
I'm waiting just like you guys. Yep, thank you.
Now, a teenage girl in North Carolina couldn't attend her senior prom because of the coronavirus outbreak, but she still had a special bash thrown just for her by a 7-year-old boy that she babysits. Jamise Pierce has the heartwarming story.
A boy and his babysitter. It's a bond tightly woven between a first grader and a graduating senior.
Rachel is just the best.
Curtis is just like such a fun kid.
Rachel Chapman and Curtis Rogers have spent nearly every day together for the past year and a half. The pandemic separated the two until a few days ago when Curtis decided to give Rachel something she missed out on this year, prom.
It said, mini prom is not today, but will you join me on Monday?
A prom proposal. Rachel said yes. 2 days later, they met for an evening of fun.
So I decided that we should just have that happen during now because the coronavirus is pretty down in the dumps, right?
And this was just the thing to do to put a smile on Rachel's face. She wore the pink dress she bought for her senior prom, and Curtis got a new bow tie to match. He also planned out the dinner menu, all Rachel's favorites.
We had Chick-fil-A, tropical smoothie, and we had everything I know she loves.
He even remembered my favorite drink.
After dinner, the two danced the night away. They made sure they practiced social distancing, using a red pool noodle to keep them 6 feet apart. Definitely a night they won't forget.
It was really sweet. It was really thoughtful.
It doesn't matter what's happening to you. It matters what's happening to people you love.
In Raleigh, Jamise Price, CBS 17 News.
My heart just melted. Well, that's it for this edition of Coronavirus Facts Not Fair. Make sure you tune in every day this week to get the latest information as we sift through the facts and fiction of the coronavirus. I'm Sanaz Tahernia. Thanks for joining us.